Welcome to Beacon of Creation, a weekly podcast on game design through the lens of Magic the Gathering. I'm Tim.
I'm Juliet.
And we've got another one of our challenge reviews. It feels like we were just doing these, but April's popped up and we got another almost 20 submissions here to review. But this is a really special challenge. This is a little different from our normal challenge reviews, which are a little more like, hey, here's some constructive feedback on a card. Here's some ideas for what you could play this card with. But for this one, we've got the April Fool's challenge. You want to lay that out for people?
Sure. So the basic idea for April Fool Us is you either submit a real card with the name and like any creature types and things like that changed, or you submit a custom card. And either way, you have like spoiler text hidden so that we can click that afterwards and reveal. And Tim and I will be both critiquing and trying to understand the card, but also trying to figure out, is this a real Canon Magic card or is this a custom card? This year we got the extra twist, which is planar chaos. So not only that, you're going to be color shifting the card as well.
And the color shift was required, which I think made it more difficult for everyone to submit. That didn't stop 20 people from submitting anyhow. And I'm not sure if it's going to be easier or harder for the two of us to guess, but it's going to give us more clues to work off of, because the original card and the new card, the new version of the card, have to kind of both make sense in those colors. So you couldn't just have like a direct damage spell now be in blue without it being like really suspicious. You couldn't have a big life gain card appear in red without that being suspicious. So it'll be interesting to use that extra clue. That the card had to be color shifted. It'll be interesting to factor that into our guesses.
Yeah, I definitely think it makes it more difficult in that you can't just go, I recognize this rules text and cost and like the puzzle pieces lock in. I know exactly the card, or at least that will be much more difficult, but we have this additional clue. So those things kind of balance each other in ways that'll hopefully be fun. We got 2 bonus points, which are pretty simple here, which are times spiral, like the mathematical operation times. That the card has X in the mana cost or in the card name of potentially both card names. That just kind of narrows the pool in, I think, some interesting ways. And then the other one is future sight. The card has 3 lines of rules text or fewer.
All right, let's hop right in. Our first one is from Dragon of the West.
Of the West.
And it's called Apex Shaft Sworn. It's 5 black for a 5/5 flying demon. So 7 mana 5/5 flyer. And it has the ability, when this creature enters, it deals damage to any target equal to the number of swamps you control.
Ichor from the deepest mire fills the heart of every demon. So on its own, this is a little bit bendy for a mono black card. Mono black can do damage to any target and damage to any target equal to the number of swamps. We've seen that in, I think, Corrupt is the big one, but it isn't something that we see every day of the week. So it's like just a little bit in that kind of hazy space.
Yeah. We'd usually see in black like a -1/-1 for each swamp you control or something like that.
Or life gain added to the thing. I think Tendrils of Corruption would be another one, depending on if we're just like targeting creatures versus being able to target players. My like first instinct is this a dragon in like, was this originally a dragon that dealt damage equal to the number of mountains?
It may be like something in a core set or something where it's like, hey, we want to have one card in each color that cares about, islands and plains and mountains and whatever, to show people, hey, if you play all the same color, you get a cooler card here. Whereas in other decks, you want to play a lot of colors so you could play a variety of cards. So this is like maybe kind of a stereotypical, like, teach people through mechanics type card. There are like, I don't know, 300 red dragons in Magic's history, so I don't recognize this card specifically if it is that dragon that we're hypothesizing here. So I don't recognize the card, and so it's up maybe, unless you recognize it, it's up to us to guess whether they would actually design this card this way if they made this card.
Yeah, I also think, this is being submitted by Dragon of
Ooh.
the West, and so my brain is thinking dragon,
Mm,
on top of this. This is plausibly a old card, like
yes.
like a Weatherlight dragon that just, it's 7 mana, no
Yeah.
one plays it because that's just not a realistic amount of mana to spend or
Mhm.
something like that.
If this were like in the last 10 years of cards, I think this would probably be distinctive enough that because like coming in and slamming this down and dealing 7 to your opponent's face, that's like kind of splashy enough that I would expect that to have been something that came up, something that I might remember. I don't know. I don't know every card, but yeah, I think it would have to sit somewhere in that like late 90s, early 2000s, some set in there.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna guess that this is a real card.
I think I'll lock fake so we can or not fake, but custom.
Yeah. Okay. Find out. This is a color shifted
Oh,
card, an anagram. Oh, I
oh
love that.
no.
Of Spawn of Thraxes.
Spawn of
Wow.
Taxis.
A card that I genuinely do not remember at all. A rare from Journey into Nyx.
Oh,
That's
very
a
smart.
7 mana 5/5 that doesn't really engage with devotion or enchantments at all, just the number of
Hmm.
mountains you control. So I guess in a way it does, fit the, like, mild monocolor theme.
Yeah. I think the two clues that I could have picked up on. One, the name is so weird, like Apex Shaftsworn, that has to be an anagram. Or someone is on like the like level 7 against us where they're like
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
submitting names that are anagrams of non-existent cards, which I will not put past the listeners. Uh, I think the other piece that we could have guessed, because I was like pinning it in order for me to believe the card's real, I have to imagine the set that it would have been in. And I
Uh-huh.
couldn't really imagine like a recent core set that had this card. Like I said, I
Sure.
think I would remember it. But the other thing that it could have been is that sort of like Theros devotion theme, saying like, hey, instead of just regular devotion for a couple of the cards here, we're going to do land devotion instead. So if we could have thought of like, oh, what other set could this have been in? This could have been in something Therosy because Theros has like a be devoted to X.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If you wanna hear more about anagrams, I believe last October
Hmm.
is
Oh
our
yeah.
Roxtober calendar. One of the bonus points was to make the card name an anagram. Very fun stuff. Thanks
Perfect.
for the submission.
Yep.
Our next submission is from Miss Liz. It's Bleeding Earth. It's
Hmm.
1 and a red for an uncommon enchantment aura with Enchant Land. Whenever enchanted land becomes tapped, this aura deals 2 damage to that land's controller.
This is pretty familiar to me. One of the things that
Mhm.
the listeners will be deploying against us is things that are like reminiscent of other existing cards, but not quite the same card. And so part of what we have to, I think last year's example that you use is someone submitting indestructible aura, which is just like an aura that gives indestructible, but that's not that's not what that card actually does. So I'm
Mhm.
trying to be aware of that kind of foolery. But this sort of effect as a black card is familiar to me. So I'm starting with this is an existing card, and we can kind of break it down from there.
Yeah, I wanna say this is World Wake, mono
Hmm.
black in that,
Hmm.
lands era. Maybe something like Fallow Earth
Hmm. Hmm.
is the name that is in my brain potentially.
I'm imagining corrupted something.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, is that a mana value 1 card? That might be a
Hmm.
mana value 2 card, and the mana value 1 version is like a Alpha Arabian Nights era. There's, one of those little
Yeah, cursed
d
land. I think was the alpha
yeah.
one. Just to break down what this card does a little bit. Like when this land becomes tapped, this aura deals 2 damage to that land's controller. So this is sort of land destruction, but kinder because like, hey, don't touch this land anymore. Actually, you can touch this land, but you just take 2 damage each time. So if you really, really need that mana, you can have it. Putting just one of these on one land Might slow an opponent down on one spell cast or might get like 2 damage in or something like that. But I kind of
Mhm.
remember like sort of a foolish plan of like trying to get like 3 or 4 or 5 of these so you can have 2 or 3 in play. And now you might actually be starting to hamper your opponent, like a draft, something a little bit newer than World Wake. But I can't quite remember where.
Sure. It has some things in common with like a spreading seas
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of plan, but
Mhm.
with much more of a Punisher
Yeah.
aspect. And
Mhm.
like, if you can also stop your opponent from playing cards to the board, like playing creatures and stuff while you're just interrupting the lands and everything, then
Yeah.
you might be able to make a lock. But I think somewhat intentionally, these cards are not printed in such an aggressive quality and quantity such
Yeah.
that like every game ends with a a bleeding earth lock or
Hmm.
something.
I think you might be right about the World Wake thing. Or maybe I'm thinking of like a reprint of it or something.
Mhm.
All right, we want to look at it?
Okay, so we're both on real card?
We're both on Cannon card. Yeah.
Great. This is a color shifted version of
Psychic Venom.
Psychic Venom from Alpha.
Well, we
So,
said alpha, but wow.
yeah. Yeah, Psychic Venom, 1 in a blue enchantland. Whenever
I definitely know
enchanted
this card
land
art.
becomes tapped, this aura deals
Hell
2
yeah.
damage to that land's controller. Wow.
What is the one that we're thinking about?
Okay, so Fallow Earth is a different card, which is a from Mirage that's 2 and a green for a sorcery, put target land on top of its owner's library. And
Hmm.
now I'm going to find
There's this is not the card I was thinking of, but there's
uh-huh,
Corrupted Roots, which is this effect, but only on a forest or plains.
yes, and
It's like
then
a Lara card.
I think you got closer to the name
Hmm.
for Contaminated Ground, which is
Mm.
from Rise of the Eldrazi.
Oh,
I
that's why
was
I know it. All right.
I was wrong. I was one set off. Because I was thinking, does that make it a swamp? Yes, contaminated ground makes it a swamp,
Mm.
and the controller loses 2 life. I was a little bit wondering whether we would be like, "Haha, the real one makes the controller lose life, and this is a custom card that deals damage." Like,
Mm. I didn't even think of that clue. Yeah, that's smart. Huh.
I'm thankful that we were being faked out a different way. Did not anticipate, "Oh, yes, this card was blue in its origin."
Hell yeah. Yeah,
But,
a little bit of like a face damage in Blue's color pie and alpha somehow. Yeah, if I think I might have been fooled even harder if I had read this card too closely because you're right. It says like deals 2 damage, whereas a lot of
mhm,
black effects are like the controller loses 2 life. Yeah, contaminated ground was what I was thinking of. I didn't realize that turned into a swamp. Wow. We like stumbled
mhm.
into the correct answer just by there being an existing black card that was pretty close to this.
There's, I think, less in the way of, swamp synergies
Hmm.
than spreading
Yeah.
seas, and
Yeah.
also, I think the drawing a card part of spreading
Mm.
seas is
Yes.
potentially
Yeah.
particularly
Significant.
useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very funny. We got like just like a whole variety of half points in our guess here. I mean, we
Mhm.
we ultimately guessed cannon cards, so we're gonna score a point. But we said alpha multiple times. We said a black card that
Uh-huh,
does almost the same thing. Yeah.
uh-huh. Really delightful stuff. Thanks for the submission.
Oh yeah, and I guess a couple bonus points. The last one had X in its name.
Mhm.
The Apex Shaft Warren, so that bonus point there. And this one is shorter rules text. So
Yeah.
um, alrighty, next up we've got Pat, or as they're in Discord now, Patsune Miku. We've got the card Shielding Winds. This is X and a green for an instant. Prevent the next X damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn, and draw a card. So X and a green, prevent the next X damage to creature or player, and draw a card. And it has, for some reason, the set symbol of the first Ravnica set.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think this is canon art of 1 card and the uncommon Ravnica set symbol, both to,
Yeah.
like, just get in our heads a little bit.
Yeah, I think this
That's
is like a unmorph aesthetic from the cons block. The
Sure.
picture here
Yeah.
is like a wolf emerging from like a energy ball.
So shielding wins here, X and a green to prevent the damage. We kind of have a flexible little fog. You can
Yeah,
just cycle this for single green mana. I assume that this must be a mono white card that
yeah.
exists somewhere. It's like
Hmm.
blinding heaven's glare or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
deflecting light or yeah.
This is like a pretty reasonable card,
Mhm.
power level wise. So one of the clues that I try to take into account is like, would I be aware of this card? Like
Sure.
with that first dragon, like part of what I was trying to think of is like, hey, this could deal a lot of damage. I might actually remember this. And this is like, I spend 3 mana, save a, win a combat, draw a card. Whenever you win a combat, draw a card, that's like a good combat trick. You have to spend maybe a little bit of mana to get that effect, but that seems pretty useful.
The thing is, while this is somewhat plausible in mono white, I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. I feel like I've looked at almost all of the mono white cheap cantrips specifically for helping a
Mm,
friend build a black white extort
yeah.
commander deck with the premise of it does not matter if your cards do basically nothing. If they are
Yeah.
cheap and have draw a card, you
Yeah.
can pay the extra extort cost for like the Sorin commander or stuff like that. Um
That's a good point. I also did look at every white instant for like the Chun Li deck, or whatever the other name of the Chun Li card is.
Mhm.
So that is
The
true.
Blade Master
Interesting.
sort of thing.
Yeah, Arcane Blade Master. Yeah, maybe we would have seen it. Now we have to go like 1 or 2 levels deeper, right?
Uh-huh.
Did Pat just work extra hard to design like a really plausible card that we're just like they're trying to like incept into us? Oh, this was Ravnica era. This, you may have forgotten the random white combat tricks from 20 years ago, and they're trying to
Uh-huh.
sneak past us doing that.
The other thing is, specifically think about Scars of Mirrodin block with its there's
Hmm.
a few extra X spells there
Hmm.
as far as things go.
All right, here's some
Mhm.
other
Uh-huh.
things to think through. It's got X in its mana cost, which is a bonus point, which
Uh-huh.
is a way to just scoop a bonus point whether or not we get it right. You know what I mean? So
Right.
there, Pat's like at least locking that in no matter what.
Uh-huh.
And I guess the final thing I want to break down here is that this is, I think, going for original looking text by saying like the next X damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn.
Uh-huh.
Whereas we might see that, I guess with damage prevention, I'm not sure, but we might see that consolidated to
Any target
something
now.
else. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you prevent damage to any target? I don't even know.
I'm gonna go that this is a custom card, but if it's a real card, I'm guessing the real card's name is something like Shielding Wind.
Oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean? And it's like, oh, this is a
Hmm.
like a Tarka themed card of a dragon coming and doing a shielding thing, and it just like wasn't playable during that limited, so we don't remember it
Hmm.
or something.
I think I'm going custom too. I think I'm going to lock in custom.
Let's find out together. This is real. If by real you mean real close to an existing card, the white card Festival of the Guild Pact from the original Ravnica set is
Mm,
almost identical to this, except that it can only prevent damage that we would be dealt to you, which is definitely a like whole other card
yeah,
because as
yeah.
you say, like being able to shift combat very flexibly
Mhm.
and draw a card out of it is very different than kind of a worse gain life and draw a card
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah.
Festival of the Guild Pack.
Yeah, because it's just damage that would be dealt to you. Like
Mhm.
you can get cards that are like 2 or 3 mana, gain a couple life, and draw a card, and you can cast that whenever you want. Whereas this, you can really only get cast when you're attacked. Maybe we didn't remember this card because no one has ever cast
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Phew. That time we did pick up on the clues that this is like a suspiciously useful card, but one we don't remember. That was our. That's how we cracked the case.
A great submission. That was
Yeah,
a really fun challenge
absolutely.
to solve. Our next submission is from VT Basemat. It's okay. It's
Hmm.
Vexing Vampire. It's
Hmm.
3 white and a black. That's 5 mana for a creature vampire with flying vigilance, and it's a 4/4.
Hmm. You could have submitted this to our Air Elemental challenge, February
Uh-huh.
Elemental.
Mhm.
The most obvious comp to this card is Sarah Angel, but Sarah Angel would not qualify, or that and this card and Sarah Angel will not
Mhm.
qualify as a submission because it had to be color shifted. Like you can't just add a color. You have to be different colors from the original color. And since Sarah Angel is white and this is a white black card, Sarah Angel couldn't be the starting point.
Yeah. I think in general, this does also bring up shades of the does it make sense to have black mana in this cost because
Hmm.
white gets a flying vigilance 4/4 on its own, like those sort of questions, like the
Hmm. Hmm.
GDS multiple choice questionnaire sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, it is a vexing vampire, and then I think that X gives us the other
Oh.
clue that we need for this. This is a
Oh.
canon card. Um,
Yeah. I think I remember the original card as well.
Yes. I feel somewhat confident that this is since we're both locked in that this is a
Hmm.
canon card, that this is Sarah Sphinx.
Oh, is that what it's called? I knew it was Sphinx something. Sarah Sphinx. Interesting. Alrighty, let's check it out.
Let's find out. Yes, Sarah Sphinx is mono blue,
Nice.
so the color pips on this color shifted custom submission follow the rules. But if you were thinking Sarah Angel, you got.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah,
Who we just happened to know this one. We lucked out. I think if I did not know Sarah Sphinx existed, I probably would not expect it to exist.
right? Like, blues wrap back around to vigilance, but, like, that's so long ago for blue to get vigilance. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously, it's like planar chaos, that's part of the point.
Yeah, maybe we actually have to award Matt the like judge's bonus point for using a card from Planar Chaos in the Planar Chaos themed challenge.
And then and then shifting it
Yes.
for
Yes. Yeah. Or at least I'll
Uh,
award my judge's prize to that to that technology.
absolutely, absolutely. A great time. Yeah, very
All
fun.
right.
Thanks for the submission. Hits all the bonus points in
Mhm,
a
mhm.
neat way that helps make all the clues.
Yeah. Well, so I was about to move on to the next card and like almost like in Discord, you just like instinctively click the spoiler text like whenever you
Uh-huh,
just see normal messages and like
uh-huh.
I managed to pump the brakes before I touched the
Good.
before I touched the spoiler text, but I felt my finger nearing that and I said, "No, no, 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 stop that. Stop that." All right, but our next card is from Plumtree Chloe, Bone Seeker. I think this is Plumtree Chloe custom art. Chloe Montgomery, age 28. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Bone Seeker is 1 and a white for a 2/1. It's a 2 mana 2/1. Creature dog skeleton at rare. When this creature enters, surveil 2. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you may return this card from your graveyard to your hand. He'll find his favorite bone even if it takes his entire afterlife. So this is like a squatting dog man picking up a gold bone. Is what the art is here.
This does feel like it's just, "Oh, this is a Murders of Karlov Manor
Hmm.
card." Like, "Oh, sure, that makes
Yeah.
sense, why not?" Mono white surveil 2 and tracking your opponent's discards and then returning from graveyard to hand is plausible to be printed, but both parts of this to me speak out as being like, I would expect this in mono black or blue
Hmm.
black or in
Hmm.
that space.
Mono black, blue black both make a lot of sense. So while we're talking through like technology and clues here, putting surveil on there puts this card in the last like 10 years or whatever. And then
Sure.
also this like opponent draws their second card each turn, blah blah blah. That kind of rules text I would also expect to be relatively modern as well.
Mhm. Maybe Commander E because of it tracking the opponent rather than your
Mm.
own
Mhm, mhm.
second draws?
I might reveal now that I know exactly what this card is.
Oh, okay. I should have
I
had me guess first. 'Cause
yeah, I should have had you guess first. I apologize.
here's what I'm gonna say. I did not know, this card, and I
Mm,
don't think I would've
yeah,
successfully guessed, so I'm gonna give this one a Juliet Guesses custom,
yeah. I
and
should have
chunk
let
it
you guess
there.
first. I apologize. This is Dogged Detective.
Dogged Detective.
I had this in my Minthara deck, so I've cast this or the original version of this card, and the art is exactly the same as the art on the original. And I think a dog and it's a dog skeleton. Yeah. Let's check the. Let's see if I'm right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is closer to the art of Sophia Dogged Detective in terms of pose,
Wait,
but
there's
is a
two dogged
mechanic.
detectives. What the?
Yes, there's a Bant legend from Murders of Karlov Manor, and then there's Dogged Detective
Whoa.
from New Capenna Commander.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm familiar with. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you said Karlov Manor
uh-huh,
originally, but it was not. There's a different card containing the same card name in
uh-huh,
Karlov Manor.
yeah, and if you look at the all th Bone Seeker, the original Dogged Detective, and Sophia, Dogged Detective,
Yeah.
they're all doing this same,
Yes.
like,
That's true.
kneeling pose.
Yeah.
It's
One knee on the ground, one knee in the air, holding
like,
holding the
one
hand up
hand
to the
up.
eye to investigate something. That is very
Yeah.
strange. Wow.
Uh,
We received some some trivia along with the submission here. Yeah, sorry for jumping the gun on that. I should have let you guess.
Chloe
Uh,
says it's a color shifted Dogged Detective from New Command Commander, but you acquid Juliet recognized it
mm,
immediately. Will fool us twice
there you go.
because I I did not. That's exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you for the submission. That's an exciting swerve away from some of
Mhm,
the other stuff here.
mhm.
And commander cards, commander set cards are just not a thing that I'm always gonna
Yeah, yeah.
have the same memory of. Our next submission is from Larsent, and I almost just did the clicka. This is Vernadi Guardsteed. That's 1 and a white for a 2/1. Creature Pegasus at uncommon. That's 2 mana for 2/1.
Mhm,
It has
mhm.
flash and flying, and when Vernadi Guardsteed enters, target creature you control gains hexproof until the end of turn. Play protects this listening to protect their beasts, and often that favor is returned. So
Mm,
this would need to be in the span of time after Shroud.
yes.
So when Shroud is somewhat deprecated and Hexproof is introduced, but before Hexproof is somewhat deprecated and Ward is introduced.
We still sometimes see hexproof
Sure.
because on this specific kind of effect, ward doesn't work.
Yeah,
Like,
that makes sense.
if this were a real card, it probably would have to be blue or blue gold. But I wouldn't imagine blue red, blue green, blue black. None of those. Maybe blue black is possible. Yeah, so 2 mana, 2/1 flyer. It's also got flash. You can also save a creature. I feel like, well, there's been blue cards very similar to this, but is there a blue card
Mhm.
just like this? I don't know.
1 in a blue for 2/1, I think
Mm,
also to me says that this is fairly recent because a 2
yeah,
power flash flyer in blue with upside
yeah,
means that this isn't like, "Oh, this is a hover mirror," not a hover mirror, a hover guard,
yeah,
from Scars of Mirrodin, because, like, they just fundamentally won't have that aggressive of stats,
yeah. If
at
this were
least
like
I
a 15-year-old card, it would be a 1/1.
or can only block flyers or,
Yeah,
some.
we used to be happy to play Welcome Turn, which was just like 2 mana, 2/1 flyer can only block flyers. Like that used to be totally fine. So this is like an uncommon blue card from the last couple years ish.
Is there a chance this is Kaldheim? One a Kaldheim mono blue, but then I'm feeling very up in the air this could go either way, and so I'm trying to, like, use divination to
Yeah.
figure out whether I have a gut feeling that pushes me one way or another.
Maybe I'd spend a little bit of time coming up with my own fakers for this to kind of get a sense of like what the process would be for our submitters.
Sure.
And I think one of the things that it wasn't that hard for me to just look at a lot of old cards and try to find ones that I could color shift. That felt pretty doable. But the opposite of like design a card that obviously should have existed, like that part, that was the hard part for me. And that's where this card feels. So if this was a custom card, if you just imagine design any card and have it be a good design, like
Uh-huh.
that's such a wide open thing that's actually kind of difficult to do. Like I kind of anticipate that when we get the ones that like are custom cards, they're going to be also emulating some freaky magic mechanic from back in the day.
Yeah.
They're gonna like use devour in a weird way to try to fool us. This is just like a clean card you could put in literally any set.
I think this is a real car. I think
Mm.
this is a Canon mono blue
Hmm.
helpful coated spirit
Mm.
from one of the recent Innistrad sets.
I th- feel like I feel like I've read this card either because, like we learned last year, someone has already submitted this card in a previous challenge, or because this is like a fairy. I think this is like a fairy lifestyle card. And part of the
Sure.
reason I say that is we got Larson submitting this card, and Larson, big Demir fan. So
Ah,
he's got
yeah.
the fairy background.
I'm gonna be really embarrassed if this is, like, from Shadowmoor, you know? It's like,
Mm.
Juliet somehow doesn't know.
Hmm.
That would be very strange.
All right, let's check it out.
Color shifted blue Plume Creed Escort
Oh,
from
that is familiar.
Bloomborough, reflavored
Oh.
as Selesnya. Plume Creed. I assume this is a bird?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
recognize. Yeah, it's a bird. It looks kind of like a fairy. Maybe that's where my
Uh-huh.
memory came from. It is sort of like a unusual looking bird, like hummingbird looking thing.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
We get the points for guessing correctly, but we're both a little bit off on the
Yeah, we didn't
specific.
nail the target. We just we got our point, we got out of here.
For a number of the cards being submitted, it is technically 4 lines of rules text or something
Hmm.
like that, because when you just have fewer words, the text size gets bigger. And so it carries
Hmm.
over, or in this case, Flash and Flying have to go in 2 different lines. I think these get the bonus point
Okay, okay.
for that, for my purposes, at least.
All right. Just to
Mhm.
kind of lock it in, because I still feel embarrassed that I blew the last card or blew the surprise on the last card. Whoever reads the card guesses first. How about that?
Whoever reads the card guesses first. Okay.
All right. I literally almost clicked the spoiler text again.
Discord needs to have an option to put the text in an image post, go beneath it instead of above it.
Yeah, for some reason, when it's above, if it's below, then I'm fine because we're scrolling the images as we record this episode. Anyhow, next up from Kern, we've got a card called Exodus, which is X and a blue. So it's got X in the name and in the mana cost. X and a blue for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, return X target permanents you control to their owner's hands. Then the effect of the spell is return X target creatures to their owner's hands. So this is like a blue mana and X to bounce X things, but you also have to bounce X of your own things. You could bounce
Yeah.
double X of your own things if you wanted to.
Which, like, I suppose you could be doing, like, paradoxical outcome style,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
just like Mox recycling, but
yeah, yeah.
you aren't drawing cards out of this. You do kind of want to be winning on tempo by
Mhm.
returning your opponent's things or eliminating their tokens, perhaps.
There's also some funny things about this. So Exodus is the name of a magic set,
Classic, yeah.
and Exodus is also the Bible, and this is
Uh-huh.
like the ocean being parted. So
Mhm.
we have some funny, I don't know, alignment between magic and real world
Yeah.
text as well.
Exodus for X and a blue.
Hmm.
Additional cost to cast a spell, return X target permanents you
Hmm.
control to their owner's hands. and then you're bouncing opponent stuff. If this isn't a mono blue card,
Hmm.
what
What could it possibly
color
be? Yeah.
is this? The second half of a mono red planar chaos split card? Like the
Mm,
boom bust ones
yeah.
that do the lands. I know there's a red one because like part of what red can do in planar chaos is bounce,
Yes. Yep.
like Sting Scourger, and there is a Dead Gone. I want to say is
Hmm.
the red one. I that might be wrong. One of those can bounce,
Hmm.
but I don't know that there's an X cost
Yeah, there's like a goblin
split.
that can bounce.
Yeah, yeah. Sting Scourger, which I think has Echo.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Huh, I don't know.
One of the technologies we learned last year is also maybe fooling me here, which is like evoking an old awkward cycle from the past. Like someone
Mhm.
submitted an alternate version of like anger, the card that was in anger's cycle, and that got us. There were at least two different cycles of cards that are like X and blah blah blah, pay some kind of onerous cost to get it, whatever. Like there's like a black one that's like, or a red one that like discard a bunch of cards to give your guys some extra power until end of turn. So I think being kind of familiar, but not that familiar with those cycles existing like 20, 30 years ago is
Mhm.
the only in I can think of for this existing. So I think I have to go custom.
I'm also going custom with the caveat that honestly, if this card did exist and was color shifted, I
Hmm.
feel like X and mandatory colorless
Hmm.
would be like, yeah, this is a weird Eldrazi thing that like, sure,
Oh,
this also goes in the colorless pie of you
funny.
can return your lands to bounce other creatures, but specifically only in this like weird X spell form. But yeah, I think I'm also going custom card.
Ah.
Wow. Wow.
All right. Well, why don't you read this? Because
Okay. Uh, Kieran really got us here, which is this is a rename of Juliet's very first card submission to the Discord for Design Challenge 17 in February of 2020, named Exit Strategy.
very nice.
I like, how do I just searching Exit Strategy? It must have been a um first. I there is some way I'm sure to search
Oh,
for
I found it.
earliest.
The
You
Your original card was also blue. So this wasn't color shifted. That's what
oh, because it's like oh, because it's a custom card, it wouldn't need to be color shifted
yeah.
from
Yeah.
wow.
It's a
Can you
custom
read
card that just also happens to be one that you designed.
can you read what was the design challenge for that
Oh,
challenge?
uh,
Design Challenge 17 entries are themed around the exit, capital T, capital E, the long rumored one way out of Castmire. Even sealed off for decades, some residents of Castmire still hope to someday escape. That's
oh
from a
yeah.
social media post that that mentions it.
Oh yeah, an uncommon showing someone looking for the exit. Yeah, yeah. Man, we used to be so much less organized in how we did these design challenges. uh,
We make and define and reinforce institutions and change them
hmm.
as they are used.
Very nice, Karen.
Absolutely genius. I feel somewhat like called out, I
Mm.
suppose. I don't know in some way. Thank you for that delightful submission.
Hmm.
Our next submission is from Eint. It's Fading Thoughts.
Hmm.
Okay, so the cost is X, X, blue, blue, blue.
Hmm.
So if you're casting for X equals 1, that's like 5 mana. It's a common sorcery with Delve and target opponent mills X cards.
What?
Narset
Wow.
felt her steel-wrought mind slipping like sand through her fingers as the Sibsig Sage poured its magic into her.
This is a really narrow band of cards that this could be shifted from because it's
Yeah,
got delve on it. There's maybe what, like 15 delve cards total or something?
and there are there's, like, Empty the Pits, I wanna say is the name, but
Yeah.
that might be is that the XX black, black, black one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what this jumped out right away. But that also that does I think that does mill, but then that also
Mhm.
makes a bunch of zombies. So this is like a trimmed down version of Empty the Pits or something?
Yeah. I think one I don't wanna say problem, but, like, a thing that I would expect to be changed with this card is it says target opponent mills X cards,
Hmm.
and hypothetically, if I was trying to get a specific card into my graveyard, being able to, like, cash out other cards in my graveyard plus my lands, or just
Hmm.
spend my mana to, like, put more cards in my graveyard and not be delving them away or something like that.
Mhm.
Just that I would expect it to be target player mills X cards rather than target opponent, to be more clear.
Alright. Do we wanna guess?
Yeah, so I do think I'm gonna guess custom on
Mhm.
this.
Alright, I'll lock in the same. This is Empty the Pits with half the text removed is my guess.
It's a custom card, but inspired by Empty the Pits. So
Wow.
yeah, we are
We are good there.
doing pretty great. Great job hitting the X bonus point and hitting the 3. I mean, maybe that's why Fading Thoughts is so simple is to hit the 3-line bonus point challenge.
That's like, going for security, like, we don't know if the host will guess this or not, but I'm at least gonna lock in all the bonus points. Next up, Sage Bees is back, and they brought Faux Idol. This is black, black, 2 mana for a 2/2. Creature vampire. When Faux Idol enters the battlefield, choose 1. You gain 2 life. Target opponent loses 2 life.
Huh.
Power remains the crux of loyalty. Without it, you are nothing. Target opponent loses 2 life is would be very unusual to see outside of black.
Yeah. Power retains the crux of loyalty. Without it, you are nothing. Edgar
Hmm.
Markov.
I started to imagine that this could maybe be like a Boros card, where you either gain 2 or opponent loses 2. But that would, if it was Boros, it would probably be like deal 2 damage to target opponent.
Yeah. There's the classic, like, a card that costs for black, black is also the same thing as a card for red, white, like,
Yes, yeah, yeah.
a helix sort of idea.
Lightning Helix. But is that trying to fool us into that being like, are we being lured into that trap by imagining it as a Boros card? Hmm.
Hmm. Faux idol.
How else are we making opponents lose 2 life? I guess there was some stuff on New Phyrexia where, like, basically every color got a little bit of opponents losing a little bit of life. It was like a bounce spell that made your opponent lose a
Yeah,
life.
Vapor Snag, yeah,
Yeah.
and, like, Leeching Bite, I wanna say. There's, like, a fight card that also, like, pings the opponent for 1 or something like that.
Mhm, mhm.
Leeching Bite might just do more. Anyway, anyways. Yeah, what are you thinking for Faux Idol?
Gain life. I guess could it be Gruel? No, the loses 2 life would be so unusual outside of black. So yeah, I think I'm gonna lock custom.
I'm gonna say this is a real canon card from New
Oh,
Phyrexia for, I
oh,
believe, the cost of white
oh,
is a, card that has the different old version of what we would call reach, which is the ability to, deal damage directly to your opponent's face in mono white. It is very unusual,
oh, like
and that
the
is one reason that.
Exarchs.
Yeah, exactly. This is the white Exarch,
Oh,
from that New Phyrexia cycle.
click in. Oh, you're right. It is Inquisitor
Yep.
Exarch. Huh.
Color shifted Inquisitor Exarch to black, changed the flavor, and cleaned up the formatting to a
Mm,
more modern approach, which I think is the, like, bullet points.
all right. Well, at least I guessed where it could have been from, even though I
Uh-huh.
then talked
Yeah.
myself out of the correct answer. I'm not as much of a freak for the weird white cards. I think that was my limitation there, is that I I know the stupid blue cards and the stupid red cards, but I don't know the stupid white cards. Stupid lovingly, not a
And
negative.
as someone who used to play way too much, like, bad white weenie decks
Hmm.
that like, "Oh my goodness, this
Yeah.
white
Hmm.
this 2 mana 2/2 can deal 2 damage to the opponent. That's incredible."
Hmm, hmm,
Uh,
hmm.
simpler, lovely times. I really appreciate Faux Idol. It's a great way to get X.
Yeah. How much of a clue is this really when we see X in the title? Like if we need to see X in the original card's name. Oh man, if I had spent like another 3 minutes, I could have gotten there because I could have gotten to Xarc because like
Uh-huh.
Deceiver Xarc is the famous one. All right. Well, thank you.
I
Good job, Sage Bees, for fooling me.
absolutely. Thank you for the great submission. Our next submission is from Cord. It is Zephie Razorfield Reaper. It's a
Hmm.
single white mana for a legendary artifact equipment.
Hmm.
It has whenever you gain life, put a charge counter on this equipment, and equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each charge counter on this equipment. It has equip 3.
Hmm. There's definitely been other white equipment like this. Like there was one in the Final Fantasy set that's kind of like this.
I admit I feel like I don't have very comprehensive knowledge of the legendary equipment, like, as a
Hmm.
set, as a
Yeah,
category.
legendary. That is weird. Huh. Yeah, legendary makes this feel extra strange. I mean, this in the picture is like a cropped axe from. It definitely looks like a person from Meriden holding an axe,
Mhm.
but the picture doesn't have to be related. It's just it's trying to lure us into a specific spot, maybe.
Yeah.
This card is familiar to, except for the legendary, which is surprising. This is a familiar card to me, and it's familiar to me because I think it might be colorless, and
Right.
that's one of the things people are allowed to do. Yeah,
I was thinking that it might be shifted from colorless to white, which would be a fun thing to make us go, "Well, what color would this be?" It's like, "Oh, no, this is from
yeah.
a single mana for
Hmm.
legendary equipment." Is this the sort of equipment that, like, has its own story going on? Or is it like, "Oh, this is legendary creatures, famous legendary
Hmm.
spear." Is this, Sigarda's weird Heron staff? You know what I mean? Is this, something like that?
Yeah. I'm trying to think like how I don't know how to say this. How
Uh-huh.
recklessly they threw legendary on random cards.
Sure.
Because before the legendary frame, like the little crown on the top of legendary cards in the card frame, like something could be legendary and you wouldn't notice.
Sure.
And so like it could just be like the life staff is the name of the card or something. I don't know. I'm making it up.
Right. I often get the 2 confused, but, I feel like I can fairly distinctly remember what Shadow Spear is
Hmm.
for a single colorless, and that's
Yeah.
not
It's not
this.
this. Yeah.
But is the Black Blade somehow something like this? Or is
The
that
the normal black blade is like scales based off of the number of lands you control.
land? Okay. Then I'm willing to guess custom and have a fun time learning the canon card that it is.
I'm gonna guess canon. I'm gonna guess real card, and it's just a colorless card from Meriden block.
Mhm. It could be a mono black legendary equipment that we just don't know about.
That's
It
true.
is color shifted to white from colorless. This card is Excalibur 2 from Final Fantasy,
Oh,
also downshifted
wait!
to
I mentioned
Deceiver
that card.
Yeah, which we should have thought about, okay, which
Yeah.
ones have X in the name? Because that is a hint. Yeah,
Oh,
Excalibur
we blew it
2
again.
from Final Fantasy 9. Wow.
I saw this card go by many times in draft, and not once did I pick it. So that's how we got the legendary in there. All right, so I guessed canon. I overall get the point there, but I once again stumbled into that point. Or I guess maybe another way of putting it, or maybe another thing we could sort of read out of it. I think the X was the main clue that we could have used, but I think the other piece is like if you were designing a custom card, you got the whole world. You can do whatever you want.
Mhm.
You wouldn't make this card legendary.
Sure.
Y I can't imagine ever putting the legendary tag on this.
Have 3 of them out.
Yeah, feel free,
Yeah,
bro.
exactly. Doesn't even give the creature
Put
lifelink.
3 of these out and then somehow have a way to gain life and somehow have enough mana to equip all of them.
Tim, can you tell me, this is
Yeah.
Excalibur 2. There is a prior Excalibur card printed somewhere in Magic.
Oh,
Can you
mhm.
tell me where in Magic?
I think I can. Is it Assassin's Creed?
It is! It is Assassin's Creed. Everything is permitted, even having Excalibur, comma, Sword of Eden? Is
Hmm.
Eden, like, the place where they do all the mind jumping from? Or is it, like, actual
Uh,
Garden of Eden? Who could say?
it's kinda complicated because, like,
Okay.
the mythological gods are instead aliens from another world, like Mayan
Wow.
temple, pyramid style. And so, like, Minerva is like an alien that lived at one point.
You learn something new about Assassin's Creed every day, like I've always said.
Is there also a Meriden one that's like this? That's what oh, man. Alright. Well, I'm battered and bruised, but I got out of that one alive.
Uh,
Thank you, Cord.
there's also field-tested frying pan, from
Oh,
from Lord of the Rings Commander, if you want to be, doing more similar
yeah,
things.
yeah. Man. Next up from Xena, we've got Xena's Lament. Uh-oh, X alert. Alrighty, so Xena's Lament is white, white for an enchantment aura at common. Enchanted creature has flying and loses all other abilities. 3 lines again. Next, you'll have us taking off all abilities. Me at you. Xena mad that we we're restricting line count.
Uh-huh. There's plenty of stuff that is loses flying. That
Yes.
has
Yes.
quite a bit of precedent. And
Mhm.
there is, in addition to, like, earth binding, I think, is it pinned to the earth that doesn't actually make them lose flying in a
Mm,
funny way and stuff like
mm,
that? But there is also, like, Colossus Hammer, which is like, "Here, take +10/+10, but you can't ever have flying."
mm.
Has flying, loses all other abilities, feels like it could be like an Avacyn restored kind of, "Here, have, like, innocent angel grace hope, and because of your innocence, you're losing all your other abilities, and
Yeah.
you're, like, you're rising above." But the card is not very strong for those purposes. So maybe you're playing this on opponent stuff?
Loses all other abilities. In terms of giving flying and taking away everything else, like in
Mhm.
terms of just giving flying on an aura that's really simple, it feels like only blue and white could do that, right? Like we're not talking
Right.
black here, we're not talking green or red. So we're talking a blue card.
Black can, but specifically if it's also giving the sacrifice a creature, like, you can give
Sure.
something the fallen
Fallen
angel
angel.
text,
Yeah.
and red can if it's specifically like, "And here's some other dragon stuff going on."
Yeah, could give flying in a different situation, but in this
Yeah,
situation, this would be very strange for either of those colors.
absolutely, yeah.
And blue can take off abilities like they, turn a guy into a newt and then like an aura that does that. So making
Mhm.
making creatures lose abilities would be blue. There's like flight, which is just a blue mana to give something flying. That's like a very medium to not that playable blue card. Like
Uh-huh.
the reason that you have this card instead is because it's like flexible. My opponent has like an insanely good ability, and I don't mind giving them flying as long as I can take that ability away.
The idea of losing all other abilities was
Hmm.
not so cut and dry in, like, alpha beta era
Mm,
of Magic where, like, sure, blue for enchanted creature has flying and loses all of their abilities, like,
mm.
because, like,
Yeah.
okay, well, what counts as an ability even isn't necessarily clear.
My theory, if this existed, it would have to have been like written really weirdly originally
Sure.
and then got like consolidated into this text. Like it was some like 4-line thing in Urza's Legacy or whatever. Those old cards, when they get reformatted with new rules, don't come out this clean. I don't know.
Right. Right.
Uh, so if this were still like 3 or 4 lines to explain that abilities can't be granted and any abilities previously established on this turn are removed, like
If this were a non-white card
yeah,
in like Mirage or Mercadian
yeah,
Masks or
yeah, Mercadian
something,
Mask, yeah,
then like because it it isn't something that people are gonna be
yeah.
using, I feel like it would still be part of like a a puzzle. Back when I don't know, I feel like I used to see a lot of Magic puzzles about like, "Hey, how do you
Yeah, yeah.
how do you win from this board state?" or whatever, that this would have been one of those things that we
Hmm.
then use, like, opalescence on or something like that. So I
This
think
is a cool card, but I
yeah,
just I can't quite believe that it's a real card, I guess.
yeah. I think I am also going to guess custom card here.
All right, we're locked in.
No inspiration except for my righteous indignation. It's a custom card.
Yay!
Really interesting card to, like, to think about, potentially to play in an environment where, you really are turning off the abilities in a way that, like, you wouldn't just wanna bounce or something like that.
This is the type of card that I would have a hard time putting this into a limited deck. But if you had this card in your hand, you would have a lot of choices.
Mhm.
It's an interesting thing to play with. Like if Magic had this kind of choice, like this sort of like up and down utility card, I think that's a good thing.
I also think this as a secret way to get defenders to attack
There
could
you go.
be could have its niche,
Yeah.
Viggy and Hydropon plus
Yeah.
Xena's Lament
Yeah.
is,
Yeah. Your 5/5 walls become giant flyers. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Our next submission is a doozy. This is from Red Bay. It's Oblivion Warden. It is for 1 generic mana and then a colorless creature Eldrazi at rare. So it's a 3 mana
Mm.
5/4
Oh.
with other Eldrazi you control get +1/+1.
Hmm. If this were like 3 mana 3/3 or something, 3/2, 2/2, something like that, I feel like there are a bunch of cards this could be. Like all your goblins get +1/+1. Very corset sort of, just a way to get a little bit of creature type boosting. Figuring out what mana cost could be 3 mana, 5/4, and also, pumping some specific card type. Now we're hitting a pretty narrow niche.
Yeah. When I first read this card, just trying to, like, think through
Mhm.
things, I was like, "Okay, what cards exist that are exactly and only a 3 mana 2/2, like, Lord effect?"
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm like, "Well, all the merfolk and goblin ones I know, and even elf ones I know give some other abilities." So I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
is there a 1 green green elf that just has other Eldrazi?" Because I know there are 2
Hmm.
mana lords that do, but are there 3 mana lords? But it being a 5/4
Yes.
is harder to place.
Yeah. I think my best kind of like area that this could be in is like this is red green, something like that, and it buffs like some
Ah,
unusual creature type. Like this buffs all minotaurs or centaurs or, whatever else, some type that's not that famous.
classic, Woolly Thoktar from
There you go.
original Alara is a I mean, being a 3 mana 5/4 was a big deal that
Uh-huh.
was for red, green, and a white in that
Mhm.
kind of original 3-color sort of block. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think you're I was not anticipating, but you're right that maybe if this was a, like, new Woolly Thokshar with other beasts you control get +1/+1, it's like,
Mhm.
okay, that's probably okay for red, green, white, or maybe Teamer can
Mm.
also sometimes get, these outsized bodies, so maybe something that
That's
has,
interesting.
like, a ferocious turning on for like red, green, blue. It's a 5/4.
Mm. That would be some technology. Hey, let me show you 2 colorless pips here. So you're imagining a 2-color gold card, but it could be 3 colors, you're right.
There's no there's no Mardu red, white, black
Mm.
5/4 with other warriors you control get +1/+1. That
It
I think you
it's
need green somewhere in this card, right?
it is interesting because, like, thinking through the ramifications, like, if we had that 3-color card, like, if this were a normal design review and we were kind of thinking through the
Mhm.
gameplay of that, are we allowed to push this hard? Like, even if it was Mardu or something not green. One of the things about costing a lord is that the lord is typically something you don't. When I say lord, something gives +1/+1. A
Mhm.
lord is not typically something that you want to put into combat. So, in a weird way, you're kind of allowed to give it a ton of stats because it's like not something that you actually want to get in a fight with. Because if it dies in the middle of combat, everybody else also gets smaller, and then there's a lot of ramifications to that, a lot of consequences. Um, so there is weirdly a lot of room to juice lord cards. Um,
And I think a big example that would be like or I guess another place that we see like 3 mana 5/4s and stuff like that
yeah.
is gods who
Mm,
can give, a sweeping sort of lord effect because
yeah.
they just aren't a creature for a
Mm,
lot of the time.
mhm,
I
mhm.
think like Svelune as kind
Oh
of like
yeah.
a here's a cheap big body, we're doing different stuff like that. But Oblivion Warden here, this Eldrazi with other Eldrazi you control get +1/+1, has no conditions on its ability to attack or be a creature or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the when people are like color shifting cards, they have to keep the text basically the same except for any types or whatever. So yeah, could there have been a 3-color card? Could there have been like a
I
also, we're dealing
almost
with Red Bay
Mhm.
here. We have to be able to expect multiple levels of deception. So, like, Red Bay might anticipate that we are going to do our best to talk ourselves into this existing by like running through it could be 2 or 3 color. Oh, it could like so
Uh-huh.
this could be like this could already still be part of the plan for Red Bay is what I'm trying to say.
Do I
This
choose the cup
discussion.
in front of you or the cup in front of me?
Yeah.
I I think this has to be custom.
Mm.
Okay, here's another potential idea. Black, 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 creature,
Oh.
demon, no flying,
Oh,
5/4.
oh,
Other
triple
demons you
pip.
control get +1/+1. Now think green, green, green.
Yeah. Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Other beasts you control get +1/+1
Mm,
for,
mm.
this is King of the Baloths or yeah, yeah.
All right, your first guess on this one, so lock it in.
Okay. I'm choosing the cup in front of me. This is a real card, and I'm so excited to find out what it is.
Hmm. The triple pip is really swaying me towards canon. I'm gonna lock canon. I'm just gonna say it's an elf card.
Regal Imperiusar might fit the bill for a card that's new, but not terribly recognizable. Also doing a new planar chaos set and using C is fun. Imperiusar.
Regal Imperiosaur. Oh, it's a dinosaur card, huh?
Yeah, from Aether Drift. It's 1 green and a green for a 5/4 with other dinosaurs you control get
Oh,
+1/+1.
I remember this card. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, we
It's
managed to we dodged the pit there. We pulled ourselves out right at the last second.
that was devious, and it's amazing what creatures can be these days.
I think we have to
Yeah.
give each other a high five for this one because we were like really close to custom, but we managed to dig our way out right at the last moment.
Right? The fact that it's 1 green green is so cool and wild where I'm like, "Okay, maybe red, blue, green, but it has to have green," you know?
It's like a this year card. That's how it's this big.
Mhm.
I ended up my final guess was wrong of it being an elf thing, but we did sort of say like, hey, give a little juice to a tribe that I guess in this case you're giving juice to cards that are already huge. So
Mhm.
you like this effect is like kind of not that significant in a dinosaur deck because your dinosaurs are already 3/5s or whatever.
Like the classic, Crucible of Fire just a 3
Yeah.
and a red for an enchantment with dragon creatures you control get +3/+3. In
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
case, the dinosaur itself is pretty big, but yeah, it can make other
Hmm.
dinos bigger.
All right. This next one, I guess, is just on me because it is submitted by you,
Uh-huh.
and it's Jesse and Rocks. 1 green blue for a Rhino Monk Rogue. It's a 3/1 Exalted. So 3 mana, 3/1 Exalted. You actually kind of did me a favor by putting 2 colors in your submission, because now I
Mhm,
have 2 colors off the table.
mhm.
This would have to be some mixture of red, white, and black if this existed. Does this particular size of Exalted exist? So the main places Exalted were in Alara, which is the main place that it was in, and then there was like one core set where black and white had Exalted. Exalted is kind of a good mechanic because you just put it on any creature of any size at any cost, and it is an interesting card. This 3/1, normally you wouldn't want like your good keyword on a 3/1, but this 3/1 could be like a 6/4 attacker in an Exalted deck. Or it could just contribute, if the coast isn't clear, it could just contribute stats to someone who's attacking.
While you think, I'm gonna read the flavor text real quick. Halku adherents on the island nation of Jess have learned to capitalize on being both unassuming and well prepared. Halku, a thing that I find really interesting that is
Yeah.
not on any Magic card anywhere, but
Oh.
in the in the fiction and world building of Bant in particular, the monks have this, like, special martial art that each monastery has their own, versions of, called
Oh.
Halku.
Okay. How cool. I think let's lock cannon card. Let's say this is a real card.
Great. Can you tell me what the canon cards, like, cost or name or vibe
I,
is?
I'm guessing black card from a chorus set. That's my guess.
Well, I did not fool you. You can click on this thing. This is a totally made up name for Servant of Nephrox.
Oh, the X. I could have used the
Yeah.
X as the sniff.
Uh-huh.
All right. All right.
I think I bring up Nephrox like twice a year on,
Yeah.
on the show somewhere or another.
Yeah.
So it certainly has been seeded. But yeah, this is the common from M13. That's 2 and a black for a 3/1 with Exalted.
Oh yeah. I remember this one. Yeah.
I didn't know if you would think, well, there wouldn't be 2 and a white for a 3/1 with Exalted because there is a
Hmm.
1 and a white for a 3/1 with Exalted and
Oh.
other abilities.
See, it actually helped me out that I didn't know the Exalted cards that well. I knew them
Mhm.
enough to know what sets they would be in. All right, I lucked out. I knew just enough to survive the challenge.
Great. Our next obviously, that has the X, has the less than 3, yeah.
Mhm, mhm,
Doing
mhm.
some fun stuff there. Our next submission is from Auxiliary Otter. It's Slumber Grasper.
Hmm.
It's 3 blue and a blue. That's 5 mana for a 2/4 creature zombie at common. With whenever this creature deals damage to a creature, tap that creature and it doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step.
All right, so 5 mana 2/4. When it hits a creature, tap and stun it, but in old text.
Which we have seen in a few colors
Mhm.
over time. I think a lot about the ones that enter tap and stun because
Mm. Yeah,
they've been weirdly constructed playable, like the core Hookmaster sort of body is
yeah.
a surprising, thing to show up in.
Crosslinks is another classic, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. At one point in time even in Legacy, these things
Mm.
can happen if you really do need to remove a blocker, but combat damage, 3 blue and a blue for a 2/4.
So probably not black, probably not red.
Right.
Could certainly be a white card.
Mhm.
And then green has had a couple of cards like this, but not many.
Yeah, so I'm gonna bring up a specific precedent for green to
Mhm.
narrow our focus some, which is the, Orochi, I think, from
Mhm. Mhm.
original Kamigawa?
Mhm. Mhm.
The
Mhm.
snake folk have this sort of ability in mono
Mhm.
green.
Mhm.
which then has the question, is there a card with these stats, a 5 mana 2/4 with
Mm.
this ability and no other abilities in Kamigawa block?
Mhm.
Which we certainly were beat by one of the Kamigawa block, like, just life gain, damage protection, sort of healer cards last time.
I know there's a 2-1 for 2 that does this, because that one I had in my Kamigawa cube for a while.
Yeah.
This card, I mean, no offense if this is a custom card, is quite bad.
Right, it is a worse than if it was like a just 5 mana 2/4 with Death Touch
Yeah, or a 5
sort of
mana
thing.
4/4, you know?
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Would be better than this, yeah. Uh,
And so that, like, cost to power
mhm,
differential also makes it seem like a original Kamigawa card
mhm, mhm,
because that's, the costs for that set were, more arbitrary than we
mm,
would see in the present. I'm gonna say this is a custom card faking us out about the Kamigawa ones because I think the
mm,
Kamigawa 5 mana one also might have like a other snakes you control get
mm,
+1/+1 ability or
mhm,
a return from graveyard sort of thing going on.
mm.
I'm gonna go custom for my guess.
I think I'm gonna go canon, and I don't actually remember this card, but I do remember when I was making the Kamigawa cube, just wanting to get every snake in there that I could because there's a bunch of legendary like snake lords, and there
Mhm,
were not many. So
mhm.
I am thinking that I cut this one for power level in my Kamigawa cube.
Let's find out together. Custom, but it is only one word away from Kashi Tribe Warriors.
Only one word away. Oh, this is like get us on a technicality. All right.
Oh, wow. I I don't know how I feel. I feel like maybe you should get the,
The
I
nitpick pity point.
well, like, I it feels weird for me to get a point for that and you to not get a point.
You'll divide the point between us. All right, all right.
Yeah,
You break off your cookie in half. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, the one I was thinking of was must've been Kashi Tribe Elite, Legendary Snakes You Control, yeah. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of that
Mhm.
gave your legendary snakes Shroud, wow.
Man, they could have knocked a mana off this, and I still wouldn't have put it in the cube.
I
Damn.
mean, I've played a 4 mana 2/4 without much in the way of abilities, as long as I've
Yeah.
got, other reasons to try to slow the game
Mm,
down.
fair enough.
Wow.
All right, just a
Thanks
couple
for the
left.
submission.
Yeah.
That's a great time. This next one's a little weird, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. I don't totally know what we're supposed to do here. So we're looking at Spice Duchess's submission, and
I think we click all of them until we get to the word in
oh,
like,
the actual spoiler. Okay, so there's like spoiler text all over the submission.
in different spots.
Yeah. It's like composed almost like a refrigerator magnet looking, I don't know.
Exactly, exactly.
Fist of the Fervent Flame. It's 1 red green for a 1/1. And I'm gonna I think let's lock in that we're gonna it's okay to click spoilers until the very last couple of them. All right. So the first one here, creature dwarf warrior dash fist. And like this the first letter of each word, yeah, this is I don't know. This is like reading a Vampire the Masquerade source book from 98 or whatever.
The first letter of each word is bolded,
Yeah, yeah,
capitalized and
yeah,
bolded.
yeah. I'm expecting to see like an illustration of like a person holding their head, but shattered glass and like smoke
Oh,
around them.
we have an illustration discussion or, description
Oh
here.
yeah, that's true. Illustration: a dwarf punching seriously above their weight class. And then the text here: whenever a creature damaged by this Fist dies this turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on this fist. And then it has tap. This fist deals damage equal to its power to target creature. Is there going to be like some puzzle to this? Because there's like weird capitalization too. Anyhow, so all right, I'm going to reread that real quickly. Whenever a creature damaged by this dies this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it, on this,
Great.
and then tap. This fist deals damage equal to its power to target creature. And then the flavor text. These fists were made for talking, and it's what they usually do. Any minute now they might ignite and sunder all of you. Lament of the Sarpadian Survivor, Canto 5 or 873. So like a cool. The set code is B&B, and the copyright is a scam, a protection racket run by publishers to exploit creatives. All right. So that's the copyright date.
Okay, that one really got me.
All right.
Like that's what copyright, like it's irrelevant to the rest of the card. It's
not copyright, 2026 copyright. Yeah.
Here's the dictionary definition. Yeah.
All right. This is a roller coaster. This is more of an art piece than the usual submission we get in this channel.
So
you want to recap what's going on?
Yeah, classic sort of what I would call like a Sengir ability, a vampire sort of thing. Whenever a creature this damages this turn dies, this turn put up some counter on this. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Unusually, a little bit, this is a 3-mana 1/1. The submission is for red and green 1/1.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this has the ability to just tap and deal damage equal to its power to target creature, which is not a very common ability in just like Magic cards in general.
Yeah, like for a while we would see the like 3-mana 1/1 tap to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. And that was like sort of a little too onboard. I mean, it's not like raw power, but the onboard level of that is like kind of high because, there's a close combat and then you just finish something off. Or every turn you're dealing 1 damage to your opponent. It's like a little bit too flexible. So creeping that a little bit more would be kind of unusual.
Yeah, and just that in general, if we're dealing damage power to target, it's either enters the battlefield, it's part of a fight, it comes with a cost of discarding or something. Your fight comes with the like it can be dealt damage in return. Bites are usually one time only, or this is a sorcery, or like that you certainly can have power then dealt as damage or something, but it's usually not in the form of like tap for no cost repeatable.
Yeah. And if we did see that, I would expect it to be in red or at the very least be in green, and it can't be either of those.
Yeah.
This would be super bizarre as a blue card, like basically impossible, I would think. White would also be strange. And then black, I could almost see kind of in your vampire thing.
Okay. In white, we did have various like Icatian Javelineer sort of things, which are almost always more complicated ways to deal power equal to damage and things like that. It is, I don't think, ever this calm or simple. Similarly, white can occasionally get the +1/+1 counter on a creature dying thing. Usually, I think that might be tied to like exiling that creature or stuff like that. You kind of a vulture's effect. This just feels unusual in mono black. I do want to open the window for this being mono blue because like Prodigal Sorcerer and as we saw with like Psychic Venom and stuff like that like blue did used to be the Psychic Blast damage color in that way, but I feel like even if this was blue or like one blue and like an old enough card for it to be that, If this was blue-black, it would have to have been from Ravnica, and I don't think it is.
What if it was like Invasion or something?
I think this is too strong for
Yeah,
an
that's my first
invasion.
impression. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like
This would be
Sparksmiths
famous.
we used to play all the time, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I think because of all of these factors together, if this was given to us as like a one white green card, I think
Mm.
I at least would be like, "Oh, is this a red goblin?" If it was, I
Mm.
would expect that, like, it also can deal damage to, like, you or itself or or
Mm.
some
Or if
other
this like it could only shoot attacking and blocking creatures, then we could believe
Mhm.
this is some weird white card.
T
Yeah.
totally, totally. Range
Yeah.
strike, crossbow infantry, yeah.
All right. Well, I have first guess, and I'm going to lock in custom.
Great. I'm also going to go custom. Let's find out together.
It's a custom card, but a glow up of a real one. Blood Cultist. Also a mashup of assorted Balduvians and Bloodshots. All right. All right. Blood
Blood
Cultist.
Cultist
Is that a
is
black red one?
1/1. It's a Grixis-y themed card for 1 black
Oh,
and a
yeah.
red from Shards of Alara.
Oh, and that one always just deals 1 damage to a creature. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think if, yeah. I mean, it is a real card, so of course it's believable. But I think it was the scaling damage of this because the funny thing about the power level of this card is like it doesn't have to be the one to kill the creature. So like your 2/2 is blocked by your opponent's 2/2. Before combat damage, you just punch it with your dwarf, and then the dwarf gets credit and also grows because that
Yeah.
creature died. That was a very crazy submission.
An exciting ride to
Yeah.
go on.
Thank you for the submission.
Our next submission is from Yabo. It is Dragon Medium.
Oh.
This is 1 red and a red for a creature human shaman at rare. It's a 2/1 for 3 mana, has protection from red, and then you can spend it has 3 activated abilities. First is pay red, this creature gains flying until end of turn. The second is pay
Hmm.
red, this creature gains first strike until end of turn. The third is pay red red, this creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn.
Hmm. 3 mana, 2/1, pro red, pro its own color. And then it can pay a mana to get flying, pay a mana to get first strike, pay 2 mana to get an extra power. There are cards that are, if it weren't for the flying one,
Mhm.
there were like some 2 mana Fallen Empires cards that were like pay to get first strike, pay to pump power.
Mm.
Like Order of Leetburr and Order of the Ebon Hand. I think based on our rules, the pro red wouldn't be able to change.
Except in that, like, color
Yeah,
shifting.
color shifting. Yeah, so I guess yeah,
Yeah.
we can keep that opened up.
As far as, like, mono red, pro red, there is, like, non-zero precedent there.
Yeah,
Th
yeah,
there is one of the Volshock cards printed specifically to make sure,
yeah.
red didn't go wild in standard in that era.
So if this were a shift, the most likely color is white, I would say, because
Yeah,
the giving first strike wouldn't really be blue. I guess it could be two color. It could be like blue white or something.
sure.
Because if it was blue white, then it could be pro red. That's the enemy of both of them.
Right,
So
that's a
that
good point.
speaking of invasion, it could be like an invasion thing.
1 white black, 1 white blue, 1 white green, 1 blue no, because first strike. And then the fire breathing element. I can see this as a dragon medium, sure. This is
Hmm.
a way to get a dragon there.
Yeah, I think mono white also makes some sense. I don't know, at least to me.
Mhm.
If there were like basically cooler Order of Leetburr
Yeah,
in some later set that I just didn't see. That reference would have made sense to me. At least it passes that test. Like even though this is a weird combo of abilities, I could believe them making like juiced of that card because that was a famous card back in the day.
I'm reaching with my brain and hands through time, and I'm gonna guess that this is a canon card?
Yeah, It does feel they added one more mana to Order Leaper and one more ability to it. Like that actually makes a ton of sense. You guess canon. I'll guess custom just to try to differentiate us.
And I'll be more specific about the canon card that I think this is, which is I think this is
Oh.
the other pair to Stromgald Crusader from Cold Snap.
Oh, Cold Snap. That would make a lot of
Being
sense.
specifically like an Order of Leapburn, etc. reference.
That's a perfect guess. Like a Cold Snap, because Cold Snap would be the amount of creep that we'd want to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
And they were looking for any kind of old ass reference in that set. So I think that's a great guess. All right, let's find out.
Wow.
Oh no!
Went wrong. I can't believe it.
You were correct, but at what cost?
Wow. This is quite literally a random Eventide rare. This is Still Moon Cavalier from Eventide. I did not anticipate that this could be. Yeah. Okay, so I am right that Stromgald Crusader and its mirror are just 2 mana, not 3 mana. So I was like, well, I feel like I might be misdirected here, but I still think I'm gonna go with it. And they can gain, so they have protection and they gain flying and +1/+0.
Oh, okay. So they have two of the abilities, but a different 2. Okay.
And they are like a mono white and a mono black one. And so Still Moon Cavalier is White Shield Crusader and Stromgald Crusader. I can't believe I knew that card's name. Combined into one as protection from white and from black. And then it's all hybrids to be able to do
hybrid to
things.
gain flying, hybrid to gain first strike, double hybrid to get an extra power. All right.
And as we were saying earlier, white red equals black. In this case, we have white black equals red.
Oh, yeah. Very good. Good job, Yabo. Next up from Mothiog, we've got Mana Sink, X and a blue for an instant uncommon. Counter target spell if the amount of mana spent to cast it is less than or equal to the amount of mana spent to cast this spell. Speaking of Alpha, isn't this a card from Alpha, Mana Sink? It's like the guy, kind of sad guy. I guess it looks like every counter spell, where like a spell is like blooping at his fingertips.
The amount of mana spent is less than or equal to the amount of to cast this spell. The wording is unusual.
Yeah, that wording is weird. Yeah. It's not X or less. It's like if you spend, 3 on X, you've spent a total of 4 mana, you'd be able to cast a 4 mana spell. So I don't think that's what the Alpha card. I think Mana Sink might be the one that is X or less.
Right.
Power Sink, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. And then thinking about, so this is closer to like a prismatic ending, I think is kind of when I would go off where like it's an X spell, but it starts at X equals 0, the function yields the number 1 rather than the function yielding the number 0.
Yeah.
Feels familiar.
They've started to use this technology, I would say, relatively recently. Like there's Verizal, who's like a Simic commander. There's like a green-white one that also has this technology, another commander. So like the amount of mana spent to cast the spell is relevant on commanders because you have to spend more and more and more mana on them.
Is this a Quandrix card? Is this a Bloomburrow card?
The other kind of major wrinkle to this card is that the submitted card is blue, so it would have to be dark blue.
Yeah. Okay, so it would have to be a counter spell that can counter 1 mana cards for single mana of that color. Like I'm spending white to just counter a 1 mana spell.
Yeah. And that's definitely not a white card. Like that would be a famous card if that existed. Because this is like, if you have at least a couple mana, you can counter what you want. So I think the only other possibility is that it's a color, like a Eldrazi, like a colorless pip. Because it cannot be like a white card or a black card. I'm pretty sure.
Huh.
I'm ready to lock custom.
I think I'm going to follow you on custom specifically because, I think if this is real, like if they printed a conspiracy set like right now,
Yeah,
this could be, is it possible that this card was printed in, like, the Spider-Man set?
Well, I did draft that a decent amount, so
Okay, okay.
yeah.
'Cause, if this was, Peter Parker needs to get to take more
Hmm.
pictures for work,
Hmm.
pay the
Hmm.
rent, I don't.
All right, double custom. Custom plus padding.
Yeah?
And the old power sync. Yeah, there we go. Nyx from Future Sight. Which one's Nyx? Is that the black counterspell?
I believe it can counter, any, like, thing that you don't spend mana on. Yeah. Nyx
Oh.
is a single blue mana for counter target spell if no mana was spent to play it,
Hmm.
that was specifically useful against suspend. And I suppose storm as well?
Hmm. Yeah, it's surprising that Mana Sync is not the name of a spell. That's true. That's in the comment here.
Yeah.
But we we did remember the original card, Power Sync, somehow.
Mhm.
Is it the one that I was thinking of? Oh
It
yeah, it's
okay.
a guy
Is it a guy
being a
having
little
a bad
sad.
time or a guy getting hit in the head? That's what I
No,
wanna
like the
know.
magic is sort of evaporating out of his fingers. Yeah,
Gotcha, yes. Okay, this one.
yeah.
I'm thinking of one of the other ones where it's a guy getting hit in the head with a magic blast of some sort.
There's another one from Alpha of like a guy with no shirt on with his arms out getting either blasting or preventing a blast. All right. Awesome submission.
Our next submission is from Rexer 2. It's talking about Exarchs. This is Sanctum Exarch. It's for 1 green and a white, a creature elf cleric that's a 2/3 at common for 3 mana. This creature gets +2
Hmm.
+0 as long as you control another cleric. Flavor text: you need to stop aggravating the Gruul clans, especially when you're such a sapling.
Hmm. 3 mana, 2/3 becomes a 4/3 if you control another creature type. So in New Lorwyn, there was like a goblin who gets 2 extra power for each goblin you control. This is something you could definitely see in red. I could imagine you could see it in any color, really, because it's such a generic effect.
I'm like the shapes and the numbers of this card are like latching on to little neurons in my head, and I'm
Hmm.
trying to like sift through the 20,000 magic cards to find. I'm like, yeah, 2/3 that turns into a 4/3. I'm thinking this is canon.
Yes, is mellow enough that this card could certainly exist and could exist in multiple colors. So from that point of view, we don't have a lot of clues because it's not like the counterspell we just talked about. That could only exist in really specific circumstances. This card could exist in many sets with many colors.
Yeah. Do you think this is a monocolor card in reality or a multicolored card in
Hmm.
reality?
I would think that a multicolor card would typically benefit other things, like it'd be your minotaurs get blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
Being a gold card, I guess if it was like a gold common in a heavy gold set, it could be a real thing. It could be 2 colors. I would just think this is a red card. I don't know. That's my
Mhm.
tendency right now.
I think I'm gonna lock in canon for my
Hmm.
guess.
Maybe I will go custom. They're just hoping that it's so plausible that we think it's real.
And I think Minotaurs is where I was thinking, that you mentioned
Fair
this.
enough.
I think this is 2 and a red for a Minotaur with this creature
Mm,
it goes from a 2/3 Minotaur to be a 4/3
yeah,
Minotaur as long as you
yeah,
control another Minotaur?
yeah. That'd be a real
That's
chill
my
card. Put that in any set. Yeah.
that's my guess. Let's find out. It's a real card. It's a color shifted version of
Oh, is this the warrior
Expedition
one?
Champion. Wow. Yeah. This is Zendikar
Yeah, it's the
Rising.
warrior one. Yeah,
2 and
yeah.
a red, Expedition Champion gets +2/+0 as long as you control another warrior.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, that one was dancing in between, like, so plausible that it could exist or so plausible that look how strange it is that it doesn't exist. All right, we got one more. This is a good one to close the episode on. From James Dalton Bell, we've got Wasteland War Rig. This is a red mana for during your turn, this vehicle has first strike. And it has Crew 3 and Mercenary Crew 1 for a 4/3. So 1 mana 4/3 vehicle, so it's not a creature normally. But it has first strike, and then if you crew it with 3 power, you get to turn into a creature, or crew it with any mercenary, you get to turn into a 4/3 first strike. So there's a lot of history behind this one, and I've mentioned it on even the other episodes this month, where
I'm gonna
James
see if I
last
can.
year. Sorry.
Okay. Is this I'm gonna try to guess.
Okay.
Uh, because I know you're about to tell a story.
Yeah.
Is this a real card from Eldraine? Or is this a card that has previously been submitted
Hmm.
to one of our earlier design challenges? Or is this a card submitted last year for April Fool Us?
Hmm.
Or is it some combination of multiple of those things together?
Yeah. Because last year James juked our pants off by submitting like a crew knight, crew with knights card, and we were like maybe in like some Eldraine precon or whatever,
Mhm.
and it turned out to be just a previously submitted custom card that James knew that the two of us, you and I, had reviewed extensively. And I use that
Mhm.
as my example of like a really crazy technology. So we're already skipping to like level 7 foolery on this one because there's a lot of history behind it. So James either is trying to just get us exactly the same with the exact same trick, or has dug up a card that actually exists that fits that pretty closely to establish a new a new campaign of terror against us, I guess.
Yeah. Because of all of this prologue and discussion, my first instinct was, right, this is that one, like, arbalest or catapult or something from, c but Eldraine has the knight equipment, not the knight vehicle.
Hmm.
But have they printed a vehicle like this
Yes.
in Aetherdrift?
Yeah. That is I think that
A
is
set
the
that I didn't play. I will admit, I didn't touch Aetherdrift's actual draft format at all.
unfortunately, I drafted it probably 25 times, so I have actually seen all the cards in that set quite thoroughly, and I cannot definitively say that it does not contain this card.
Ah, that's great, that's great.
Most of the
Uh,
vehicles in Aether Drift have like ETBs. They're not shaped like this, I guess I would say. They found depth in because they were 40 vehicles or whatever. They found depth by adding like ETB spell effects to vehicles or
yeah.
exhaust abilities.
So think about this card very specifically. 1 mana
Mhm.
for 4/3, your turn for first strike, but it's a vehicle. He's spending 3 power to turn on this 4/3 first strike, or you're
Mhm.
spending 1 power of a specific type,
Mhm.
which plays nicely if you have specifically token creation of that type. In this
Mhm.
case, mercenary, great.
Mhm.
Mercenaries are kind of funny because you potentially want to tap them for power gain or whatever, anything
Yeah.
like that. In this case, sure, a mercenary to be able to run your war rig. It's n- certainly very conceivable to have some mercenary tokens or some equivalent tokens. Of course, if you're
Yeah.
doing a set like that, then your tokens want to be pilot tokens where you don't have like you can put that on the token part rather than on this vehicle part.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like maybe part of the foolishness of the night crew is that like most knights have 3 or more power, so that you're not actually getting something cheaper. I guess the place that I find myself is would I rather lose the same way twice or lose in a new way? And I think I'd rather lose in a new way. I think I'm going to say that this is a custom card so that I can't be fooled the exact same way as last time. I'm going hard custom, but I'll leave it to you where you want to go.
I'm Whereas I'm like, losing the same way twice, that's comedy. And like specifically, there's a kind of anti-comedy that I find very rich. The example I always give is they never expect the second fish brick. If you tie a fish to a brick and throw it at someone, it's unexpected. But if you tie a fish to a brick and throw it at someone again, they never see the second one coming. Wasteland War Rig. I will happily step into the fire and be burned. This is a canon card.
Alrighty, let's find out. I
Uh,
suspect I'm unlikely to fool you again, but this is in fact the same submission as my April Fool's card from last year, King's War Chariot, which is my submission from the March 2023 challenge, Infantry Battle Harness. I just couldn't resist. The bit was too good.
yeah,
All right.
I agree. The bit is good.
It's almost like selfless.
Hmm.
James is a very capable designer, could have gone deep in the tank, found a new way to fool us. But they said, wouldn't it just be the most entertaining to just like hit us with it again? Thank you, James. Very good submission. I think technically 3 lines of rules text because it's all reminder text.
I mean,
Eight,
yeah.
8 lines of text or 9 lines of text, but
When you remove
yeah,
the reminder text, yeah, that
yeah.
is true. It does resolve down to just that.
Alrighty. Well,
Yeah.
that was a highly successful set of submissions, everyone. Good job.
And I think if my very ad hoc scoring is correct, we ended up at the end of that challenge
Mhm.
even at 12 and a
Oh,
half points for each of us.
very fun. Yeah. I hope everyone enjoys this episode as much as we do. I think they
Any
will.
standouts from you for
You
this
know
crop
what?
of submissions?
I'd like to pick some favorites, but I think this one's for the people. We're not gonna I'm
Sure.
not gonna elevate anyone this time around. Everyone did a great job. Everyone, any one card wouldn't have made this what it is, and it's the combination of all the cards that made it what it is.
I'm gonna say I've never been so, like, I don't know, mixed feeling about getting something both right and wrong as the dragon medium that turned out to be Still Moon Cavalier,
Oh.
that because I was like, "This is Stromgald Crusader's
Mm,
mirror."
mm, mm, mm,
And to build on your, like, Homelands reference,
mhm,
and then,
mhm,
like, I'm like, I'm totally convinced. No,
mm,
I got
mm.
I got juked after all.
Yeah.
Gosh, we had a random Eventide rare in this. This was very fun.
Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
The end of one design challenge marks the beginning of another. Our May design challenge is, as everyone knows, the month of May is Swamps and Marshes Appreciation Month,
Mm.
for which your challenge is a land or non creature artifact that can produce black mana.
Hmm. Okay.
And then
Interesting.
I've been thinking a lot about Into the Woods lately. It's just been a thing that I've been working on and thinking
Movie
about.
or
I
or
almost exclusively not the movie, I'm going to be
oh,
honest. I think the movie
okay.
is a particularly poor adaptation.
Great.
But as we always say, whether we're thinking about Into the Woods or not, the difference between a cow and a bean is a bean can begin an adventure.
Oh. Okay. All
For which
right.
I will give what I think is the very fun bonus point here, a cow and a bean. Give your card an adventure, omen, or prepared spell.
Oh, okay. So all 3 of these are like the split frame ways of getting spells on creatures typically. The original challenge is to give us a land or non-creature artifact, but because you have this split thing, you can get a little more action going.
Mhm. Depending on what you're doing, that can very much change the relationship of when the spell is being cast relative to, especially if it's a land,
Hmm.
because adventures, omens, and prepared spells are like different timings. So I think there's going to be some
Yeah,
interesting space there. You can think about the towns from Final Fantasy as, you
sure.
know, yeah. And the other bonus point, another Into the Woods. We want four. We had none. We've got three. We need one. It takes two. That you're happy to have this card in multiples.
Very nice. And it could be like, specifically named, like for each card in your graveyard named blah, blah, blah. Or it could just be a card that works well with itself.
Mhm.
This is another good example of where like the bonus points are optional, right? It's going to be hard to rig up like a land that also has an adventure that also you really want a lot of. Like that might be a little tough. So feel free to do like, hey, this is just a cool non-creature artifact that you don't mind having a couple of. Forget the adventure thing. Like the bonus points are truly bonus points. They're not requirements.
Mhm. I do think, potentially something with Omen. Maybe you're happy because you're going to
Mm.
shuffle that thing back in
Mm.
potentially rather than being
Mhm.
able to play it.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
those submissions are going to be due May 29th.
Alrighty, yeah. All right, yeah. Hopefully get those submissions in. We had a bunch of people comment how hard this one challenge was, and we still got 20 submissions. So I'm bracing myself for us going back up to another 30 submissions next month. But we'll always look forward to that. Always love talking about these cards. It's so great that people are so engaged and want to send us all these cool cards to talk about. And I don't know. It's just like I think not a lot of podcasts have this kind of interactivity, and I really appreciate it.
And you can join our Discord and submit cards with the link in the show notes.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to tell people about? Is your moonshot thing
Yep, Moonshot
pending?
is coming up May 22nd through May 24th. Excited to see everyone there.
All right. Any teasers on that?
I've been learning DaVinci Resolve, which is a
Okay.
new
Yeah.
program for me.
Hmm.
It's like opening up whole new skills and
Oh.
things. We've had a successful design challenge here. Tim, I have a question for you. Here's a
Yeah.
little teaser for something I've been working on. It's a game I like to call Polis or No-less. Which of these isn't a real life city in Ohio?
Oh.
Okay. Uh, your challenge is green, forest, white, plains. Which of those four isn't a real city
Oh.
in Ohio?
So it would have to be like green Ohio or white
Mhm,
Ohio.
mhm.
I don't even know what the fooler levels are on this one. Let's go with forest.
A good guess, a good
Ah,
guess.
rip.
I'm afraid there is a Forest, Ohio. There's a Green, Ohio.
Mm.
There are, the Plains, Ohio,
Hmm.
and there's no White, Ohio,
Oh.
I'm
All
afraid.
right.
That's
There we
the
go.
the the one missing out. They're not all Magic the Gathering colors. We have
Oh, okay.
much sillier and more exciting ones, but I
Mm.
thought that one might be a
Yeah.
fitting,
This has
fit.
like a connections vibe to it of like themed, groups of four. I like this.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that stream.
Memorial Day weekend, starting May 22nd. Moonshot Network,
Perfect way to remember it. Yeah.
EV/Moonshot Network. Yep.
Alrighty. Awesome. And if you need to get in touch with either of us, Discord is a place to do that. And everyone, thank you for submitting and listening.
Yeah. And always remember, it is a good thing to be fooled. It is a positive social interaction. It's a positive part about being in society.